What's up everybody, this is Yasin and welcome back to my channel. Recently, every economist and banker has thrown these jargons out in the media thinking that the people, a common person, will really understand that. I'm talking about the most common buzzword in today's world, that is inflation. So inflation and its variants like stagflation, shrinkflation, deflation, disinflation, oh my god. In this video, I'm going to break it down into simple words for you as a common person to understand what does it mean and how this is applicable in our lives. So without further ado, let's dive in. If you are a regular subscriber to my channel, you must have seen me and heard me talking about inflation because that's my favorite topic. And the reason is, an average person on the street do not really understand inflation and its implication in their financial lives. And my intention through this channel is to make sure that every common person should understand the inflation and its associated form and its implications on our financial lives, because that's really important. Because if we don't pay any attention, then we are losing a lot of purchasing power in the hindsight. So inflation means the rate of change of price increase year over year for common products and services and goods that we purchase in our daily life. So when we say the inflation is 4.4%, which means the price of goods and services that an average person purchases in the daily life has gone up 4.4% compared to last year. It actually measures the price increase year over year. Now, deflation is opposite of inflation, which means the price is actually decreasing year over year, and the way we measure the price decrease is basically using the term deflation. It typically doesn't happen and not a really good sign from the economic perspective, because if the price is decreasing, that means from economic perspective, there is not a lot of spending going on from consumer side, which may be a problem going forward. In these times, we typically don't see deflation, but for you to understand, there is a deflation, which is the opposite of inflation. Now add hyper in front of inflation. So a lot of people recently, like Jack Dorsey, said that US is heading towards hyperinflation. Now, what is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation means when the price increase of goods and services is up to like 50% on monthly basis, which is very severe condition. So we are way far from that kind of state. So for example, if you purchase a box of pizza today for $10, next month it goes up to $15, right? 50% increase on monthly basis. The third month it goes up to $23, again 50% increase, and then the fourth month it goes up to $33. So it's increasing 50% month over month over month. That's the academic definition of hyperinflation. Today we have some countries where they are experiencing hyperinflation, for example Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Lebanon, and maybe Argentina as well. So those are the countries right now experiencing hyperinflation. In US, in Canada, in Europe, I think we are way far away from that state. So people like Jack Dorsey, when they say, hey, we are approaching to hyperinflation, I think they are exaggerating to a little bit. What is disinflation? Disinflation means when the prices are increasing but at a lower pace year over year. For example, today we have seen the CPI index in Canada is 4.4% in the month of September, which means the price of goods and services has gone up 4.4% compared to last year in September. And then if the next year they goes up to like 3%, the year after it goes up to like 2.5%. So you can see the price increase is still is going up. The rate of change of price is still going up, but at a lower pace year over year. This is called disinflation. Now let's jump on to stagflation. Stagflation means when you have inflation going up, at the same time you have economy stagnation, which means no economic growth. Economy is completely either flat or we are seeing negative growth. Traditionally, the way economists define stagflation is it is an impossibility, which means how come you will have economic decline when at the same time the price of goods and services are going up? Because the theoretical analysis is when the price of goods and services goes up, they assume that the money is coming from somewhere, whether producing more goods and services, or by increasing the productivity, which means you are developing new products and new services and innovating other services and technology that is enhancing the productivity and overall economic growth. So this is the theory that the money comes from that, which actually drive the price of consumer goods and services. But since 1970, this has completely changed the way stagflation is measured, because before 1970, in the monetary system, we always had a control in terms of the money supply. The money was tied to the gold standard, right? You cannot print more than what you own in terms of the gold deposits. But since 1970, that system has been abolished, which means any central bank can print money as much as they can. The only risk is basically the higher inflation, right? And since 1970, we have seen stagflation on a consistent basis. And to this day, we are still seeing stagflation, which means the money supply has increased significantly, which of course trickles down to the economy and rise the asset prices up, whether this is real estate, commodities, food prices, every average product, goods and services that an average Canadian or American purchase. So we're seeing the prices are going up across the board, but at the same time, the economy is stagnated. It's flat. It's not growing, and it has various reasons. I have talked about in my previous videos where, because of lockdown measures that the government has taken, it has brought the economy at standstill, where you have factories closed or operating at minimum capacity because they don't have enough employees to work. At the same time, you have energy crisis, oil crisis, which is contributing towards this electricity issue, which is not enough to operate the factories and manufacturing sector. So lots of other reasons why we are seeing the economic decline. But that's really the definition of stagflation. So we are not growing in terms of economy, but at the same time, the price of consumer goods and services and assets is going up because of helicopter money, because the government has pushed a lot of money into the system in the form of stimulus checks, SERB, whatever you call them, stimulus check and government funding for the people to stay home, not going out, not work. This has created the increased purchasing power, which of course driving the prices up for all the consumer services and goods that we typically consume in our daily life. So that's the definition of stagflation, and we are seeing it across the board pretty much everywhere, because the purchasing power was increased suddenly out of nothing, because that purchasing power did not come from extra productivity or by creating new goods and services or technology evolution. It just came from central bank, through federal government, through stimulus checks and other funding programs. So that's what stagflation is. So shrinkflation it's a deceiving technique. So what the companies do, in order to keep the price of a product same, they decrease the packaging size or the size of the product. So on the shelf, you will notice some of the product that you used to purchase, they're now coming in a smaller pack, but same price as you used to pay before. That's called shrinkflation. It's a deceiving technique to let people believe that the price is still the same for the product that you are purchasing. Behind the scene, where they're decreasing the package size or the quantity of the product, basically to hide the inflation. So that is another form of inflation. We call it shrinkflation. So I hope this is helpful. If you like it, give me a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and ask me any question about these topics, and I will be more than happy to answer them. Until my next video, take care.